I recently beat Final Fantasy XIII. And I know what you're thinking. That game is 15 years old. So fucking what?
Trying to find my way through another day, but my tears won't go away. They say I should get on my knees and pray, trying to find a way through this miserable day.
First off,
go fuck yourself.
And second, I'm a big Final Fantasy fan. I beat every mainline entry of Final Fantasy from 7 to 15. 16 is probably next on the list. Tactics and 10-2 as well. I'm not really into MMOs, so I skipped 11 and 14. 13 was my only holdout. What the fuck am I getting at? Well, believe it or not, I played Final Fantasy XIII the day it came out in North America. March 9th, 2010. And I made a pact. If I beat the game, well, and I never beat the game. It's been a skeleton in my closet for the last 15 years. I would tell myself and my friends, it's a shitty fucking game. Lightning sucks. She's a terrible protagonist. She's such a frigid and cold bitch. Hope is a whiny ass motherfucker. Little kid, won't grow the fuck up. Man, fuck all these characters. I don't feel any sympathy for any of these motherfuckers. They gave a black man a gun, and he has the worst stats in the fucking game. Why should I care about this shitty ass game? Why is Saz so weak compared to Fang and Vanille? And who the fuck is this fake ass Pope guy? I went into my replay of Final Fantasy XIII with a lot of these thoughts. Well, just hold on, let me back up for a second. Why am I replaying Final Fantasy XIII in 2025? Recently, Magic the Gathering, they did a collaboration with Final Fantasy. They did all the mainline entries, including 13. At the Final Fantasy pre-release, a conversation was brought up on who was the worst main protagonist. I said Lightning, without a second thought. Another guy, he said Squall. Now, I don't know if any of y'all know this, I am a huge fan of Final Fantasy VIII. It is my favorite Final Fantasy. Some people say 7, some people say 9, a lot of people say 10. 8 is my favorite Final Fantasy. I believe it's the first one I've ever played. I relate to Squall, the main character of 8, as one of my favorite Final Fantasy characters ever. When this guy said Squall was the worst protagonist, I looked at him and said, have you even played Final Fantasy VIII? This motherfucker had the audacity to say no. I don't know how many fucking video game documentaries or whatever this motherfucker has watched about Final Fantasy VIII. Anyway, everyone's entitled to their own opinion. And the reason I said Lightning is I really couldn't relate to her. At the time when I played it, she was a cold, frigid bitch. She was bounded by her duty. And she was sort of boring. The only thing cool about Lightning was combat-wise. Everything else about her was so robotic. So it made me think, you know what? I should revisit Final Fantasy XIII after 15 years. Luckily, there's a Steam sale. I got Final Fantasy XIII for $6. I installed it, and I immediately ran into some issues. So I started up the game. I got a black screen. I got the Square Enix screen, then black. Wait 10 minutes, nothing. And this would persist for a couple of days. I went on a couple of Steam threads, a couple of Reddits. Other people were experiencing the same issue. I tried troubleshooting the issue for a few days, and I gave it a rest. I was like, you know what, maybe it's not meant to be. And it got to the point where I reached Legendary 3 on Warframe. It's like, I have a little extra time. I can't wait to reach Legendary 4. I troubleshooted some more, and I finally got it to work. Now, I don't have a toaster for a PC. I actually have I would say a mid-power PC. I don't have a 5090 or anything like that, but I do have a decent enough rig to run Warframe on the highest settings easily. I was thinking Final Fantasy XIII should not be an issue. Apparently I was fucking wrong. You know what it was that was keeping me from playing it? There's some weird security plugin, something called DEP or Once I got that disabled and fixed, I started playing. For anybody that hasn't played Final Fantasy XIII or plans on playing Final Fantasy XIII, this is your chance to click off the video. I'm about to go into spoiler heavy content. But it's a 15-year-old game, so spoiler warning, I guess. Shit. I'm gonna do a quick character analysis. Lightning, yes, she was a freaking bitch. I was right to think that. What I didn't realize was she was so devoted to her job and doing what was right, it warped her morality. When Sarah became a lessee, Lightning prioritized her job over everything else. That proved to be her largest law. She'd put duty over everything. She would go for what's lawfully right instead of what is morally right. Snow wanted to be a hero, but he was so blinded by his actions. He never took accountability, didn't care about the consequences, he just wanted to be a hero. He thought he was the protagonist of the game, but for a few chapters he was nothing but a backseat bitch. We didn't even see him for a few chapters. In a way, this is Vanille's story. Vanille narrated the story, she told it through her eyes. The big lesson she learned was, you're not alone, and if you know something that's detrimental, tell the truth. That's all you gotta do, tell the truth. If you have a good set of friends or good family around you, doesn't matter what happens, they got your back. Most of the time. Cause some of my family, some family ain't good family, I'll tell you that right now. I forgot how essential Vanille was to the plot. I forgot that she narrated the story. I forgot she was such an essential part of the end. I didn't make it to the end, so until now. Fang, I'm gonna save her for last. I'll do her character analysis last, like I like to say about Fang. I was completely wrong about Hope, and I will admit that. I thought Hope was the biggest crybaby bitch I ever seen in my life. Not only is he the strongest magic user in the game, he came up with so many epiphanies, so many links for that group. He kept that group together. We watched this motherfucker grow up from a crying, whiny little bitch to almost like grown man status. Out of all the characters that were on that game, he showed the most growth. He watched his mother get killed. He vowed vengeance and then realized, you know what? Vengeance is not going to bring my mom back. He actually took accountability for his actions. Physically, he may be the weakest character in the game, but mentally, he's probably the strongest. He made the most links too, from especially when Bartandalus and the Focus and all this other stuff was trying to like make a weird stew for the ending. He drew a lot of conclusions, guided the group to where they needed to go. That brings me to my boy Saz. Saz, why they do you like that, man? The coolest thing about you is your little chocobo guy. Your chocobo buddy. That's the coolest thing about you. I do like the way Saz uses his guns, but other than that, I look at his stats, I look at everybody else's stats. Good God, what the fuck did they do to you? I didn't max out the Crystarium, or whatever the fuck it's called. Yeah, the Crystarium, or Crystallarium, or whatever it is. I didn't max that out. I'm at level 4 Crystarium with everybody. He's still in the 600s. Everyone else has at least one stat in the thousands. What the fuck is going on? Is there something I missed? Stat-wise, he's terrible. I don't know if they factor his age into it, but like Fang and fucking Vanille, they're like 400 or 500 years old, maybe 1,000 years old. Age shouldn't even fucking matter. I don't understand that. Is that some sort of low-key racism or something? That why his stats are so low? Or maybe I'm missing something. But Saz's stats are terrible. Even with the power of the Lassie, his stats are terrible. He does have a few points where he does shine in the story. He does use his wisdom quite a bit. I wouldn't say he's the most naive of all. Maybe I'm using him wrong, but whatever. I'm done with this. And he has a gun! Did I mention that? He has a fucking gun! Alright, let's get to the best. Fang. Oh my god. Ooh, lao. In the words of Tony Storm towards Chris Statlander. What a woman. Fang was as badass as I remember her. She can do any role. When I was playing, I'm like, how do I meet Fang? When I first saw her again, I'm like, yes. To me, Fang is the best character, like stat-wise and in the story. She's the most badass. If I had to choose a main character, she'd be my main character. But I do love me some Fang. So, with that quick character analysis out the way, I'm going to describe the story and give this game a final score. The story, it felt linear. It felt like I was being led in the line the entire game. You can't really backtrack until you get to like the end. If you're really good at the game, if you're really skilled at the game, you can beat this game in 30 hours. I believe you can beat this game in 30 hours, even less. It took me 50. Kudos to you if you can beat it in 30 hours or less, but it took me 50 hours. 20 of those hours is gearing up for like the final boss. I spent like 20 hours beefing up my characters because I remember the last time I fought the final boss 15 years ago and that motherfucker whooped my ass. He beat me down. So I spent a good 20 hours trying to beef up my characters, level up the weapons. I would say the first 20 hours, probably the hardest thing to do is get through those. At times it felt like a slog. That part with when you were with Size and Vanille, when do I get to play with Lightning and Hope again? I was waiting to get back to that because they were developing their characters better. Lightning taking on the big sister role and Hope learning and getting trained and getting toughened up. I thought that was more story development. When it was like Size and Vanille, I was like, oh, this is sort of a slog right here. There were a lot of slow points in the story. I just couldn't wait just to go a place in the story where I knew there was going to be character development. Because right now all I'm doing is fighting mobs. And another thing I noticed was the world is sort of dead. Like, you can't really interact with people. The main thing you're interacting with, gizmos in the environment, and the save point, you really don't talk to people. You don't really go up to people and talk to them. You can't talk to the NPCs really because they're just gonna they just say the same generic garbage. The world feels so dead, and that's why I think it's so linear. I know in other Final Fantasy you can go back to a world or whatever event happens and the world changes. Was it Lindblom in Final Fantasy IX gets blown to hell? Was it by Alexander? I forgot who blew Lindblom to hell in Final Fantasy IX. But you went back to it and you see the devastation of the world. This game is like, it's just dead. There's really no interaction with the NPCs. It felt really rushed in some places. Yeah, y'all spent all this time developing the game, but did y'all really develop the environment? Did you really develop NPCs, like the characters? It's like the main thing you're really interacting with is the save point. There's all your shops and your save points and your upgrades, and you used to have to go to like a smithy to get your weapons upgraded, or do it yourself, or one of the characters would do it or something. It's really dead. Well, what I'm getting at is this game was a slog, especially the first 20 hours. Some people on Reddit, they said they couldn't even make it past the first 20 hours because it was so boring. But I had a point to make. I wanted to beat this game. I did beat this game. The ending was an ending, and I did enjoy the Leona Lewis song at the end. You know, I shed a few tears. Okay, so let's give this game a score. On a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give this game a 6. Would I play it again? No, I would not play this game again. One thing I am glad they did is when you beat the game, you get to go back to the previous save point before you beat the game. Whatever save you have, interact with it, and you expand your Crystarium. So if you Crystarium or whatever it's called, I don't know what it's called. I don't want to say the point system because I might get flagged on YouTube. So yeah, abbreviations may be nice, but not that abbreviation. I'm not saying it. Anywho, you get to go to level 5 on your Crystarium, or Crystarium, or yeah, whatever that word is. If you want to pursue going deeper into the tree, you can, which I may do, but right now it's in the back burner. Plague Star just came out, and no. Plague Star just came out for Warframe. I'm not doing that at this moment. I will probably revisit it later. The story was okay. It was not the best. It felt rushed. The CGI, in a sparse moments they did use it, excellent. Crisp, action-packed. The characters, I only cared for a few characters. I didn't care for everybody. Usually when I play a Final Fantasy, I care for the majority of the people. Like Final Fantasy VIII. I enjoyed Renoa, Squall, Selphie, Zell. Didn't care too much about Erwin. Quistis was cool because she ate things. That's the majority of the people I cared about. Final Fantasy IX. Zidane, you had Garnet, you had Eiko, whatever her name. I didn't care about Amaranth. I didn't care. Well, Kina was pretty cool. Vivi was cool. Steiner was cool, even though he's a bumbling fucking idiot.
Size does matter, bitch!
There's people I cared about. Final Fantasy VII, yes, I care about all those characters, even the one that died. With Final Fantasy XIII, I like Lightning. She was cool. Especially when she threw that right hook and knocked Snow on his ass a few times. Snow was okay, I guess. Fang, is bae. Vanille, okay. Saz, Hope. Hope, like I said, Hope is like one of the best characters in that game. Development-wise. So I guess I care for some of the characters, but I don't care for the characters. I don't have any, as Scott Steiner would say, sympathy for them. The soundtrack was pretty good. It was the little things that you can tell it was a Final Fantasy game. But it wasn't a good Final Fantasy game. It was an okay Final Fantasy game, but it wasn't a good Final Fantasy game. So therefore, I give it a 6 out of 10. Would not play again. With that being said, I just want to give y'all the reason I'm making this video. So in March 2010, I was in my final semester at Albany State. Telling my age again, and I was very depressed. To be honest with you, I have no idea what brought it on. It's like I had no friends. I had associates, but I had no friends at Albany State. I had friends outside of Albany State, but they already had plans. They had plans to go to graduate school. They had jobs lined up. I didn't have none of that shit. I tried to apply to a couple of graduate programs. Nothing. Tried to apply for some jobs. Nothing. Even my extracurricular activities. I think I was heavy into Yu-Gi-Oh then. Yeah, I was heavy into Yu-Gi-Oh. This is before I started playing Magic. Because really, I didn't have a Magic scene. If Albany did have a Magic scene, I didn't know about it. I stopped playing Yu-Gi-Oh. I felt there was a lot of dead ends in my life. It's like you're on the highway, right? And you're going nowhere fast. You're driving somewhere, but you don't know where the fuck you're going. You don't know what's ahead on that road. It's night, you're traveling, and you don't know what's gonna happen next. That depression was very heavy. It clouded my mind. It was like a miasma, polluting my mind, paralyzing my common sense. I went to Albany State to try to find an identity, make an identity, because I didn't have one in high school. I was still trying to find out who I was. A lot of people would say that high school assists in finding your identity, find out what kind of person you are. I left high school, had no idea what the fuck I was doing. I'm about to leave Albany State, and I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. And I really didn't see a way out or anywhere to go. So I made a pact. When I beat Final Fantasy XIII, that was it. I don't know how I would do it, but that was it. That'd be it. Fortunately, it wasn't until now I'm a little bit better mentally. Sometimes I have to laugh to keep myself from crying, even though I cry anyway. It was when I was putting the last few like polishing touches on that final boss, having Fang beat the shit out of the final boss, and I was thinking like, damn, how stupid of me was it to endanger my life like that? How could you have been so stupid? You have all the brain smarts in the fucking world and you wanted to end your life over a fucking video game. You piece of shit.
He's a piece of shit.
I'm glad I came to my senses. Only took me 15 years to realize that. Eventually I would sell my PS3. By the way, I don't know if any of y'all know, but I don't know what happened between 2006 and 2010. But the PS3s I had were pieces of shit. I went through like 5 of them. That was my 5th PS3, I believe. And that was my 2nd Slim. So I sold it to a friend, and I think a couple years ago it finally died. Nevertheless, that's a story for another time. I'm just thankful that I didn't go through with it. I'm saying that to say this. Don't let your depression ruin anything. If you have depression, don't keep it bottled up. Let somebody know. Talk to somebody. Get some therapy. Recently, I don't know if any of y'all watch wrestling, AJ Lee got a therapy chant started. Therapy is good. Get you some help. Talk to somebody. You may not be the only person that's going through whatever the fuck you're going through. It's a crazy world right now. It looks bleak, but it could be a lot fucking worse. Just whatever you do, whatever you're going through, don't leave your depression bottled up. It's only gonna get worse. That's what happened with mine. I let it bottle up. I would have a brush with death. About 4 years later, what I'm getting at is, I let depression ruin something I love. I love video games. I love Final Fantasy. That may have been the wrong Final Fantasy to love. But I wouldn't say Final Fantasy XIII was a great game. By no means it is. But I can't let depression or anything ruin, hell, stop me from loving something I love to do. There's too much negativity in the damn world. Too many things that are trying to stop you. But what I realized was that depression, it skewed my vision of the world. It tried to ruin Final Fantasy XIII for me. It made me see Lightning as a stupid, cold bitch that didn't care about shit except for job, which was true to a point. She was actually a loving sister, and she didn't know how to express those things. I thought Hope was a whining bitch. I thought he'd never get out of his rut. I was so blinded by my depression, I didn't realize one of the most mentally strong people in the game. Yes, he cried like a bitch, but what he would do, he'd get up, pick up his damn boomerang, and start throwing it at people. That's what the fuck he would do. He'd hurl magic at people. Shit. He's the best Ravager on that game. In my opinion, he is. I'm saying that to say this. I'm not playing 13-2 or 13-3. Next Final Fantasy I'm playing is 16. Or Ivalice Chronicles. I'm saying that to say this. Love your family. Because you don't know what they're going through. Reach out to them. Say hello. The family you fuck with. Some people I don't fuck with. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't fuck with. Say hello to your friends. Check in on these people. Because you never know. The next time you say hello, it's the last time you speak to these people. Well, that's it. You can fuck off now. Hey. Y'all still there? What's up, fuck off army? Pessimistic Red Panda again. Just wanted to thank the 2 people that watch my videos. Y'all keep me going, I guess. Beating Final Fantasy XIII was something I thought I'd never do. Not that it was too hard, it just wasn't on the 2025 bingo card. Then the Final Fantasy Magic the Gathering crossover happened. That conversation sparked it off. I think I have one more in me. Let me try it again. I didn't realize this video would coincide with National Suicide Prevention Month. That Logic song is corny as fuck, but it's true. Mental health is some serious shit. Y'all take care of yourselves. Let's date this video. I don't mean, you know, roses and chocolates and sit under a tree and yeah, procreate. No. Anybody listen to that new Lorna Shore album? Glenwood? Am I right? Am I right? If you know, you know. Well, that's it. You can fuck off now!